You are success to me.
Hello, look at where we are parked. This place is incredible. You know, we got that ticket last week, but then we discovered this park on the other side of town. We've been here for over a week. We just love it. The views are spectacular. Today on Sprinter Van Living, we want to show you some amazing upgrades. They're little, but they've greatly improved our quality of life in the van. So we have about, I don't know, five upgrades to show you. So let's get started.
So the first one that I wanted to do right away was down here. I took the shoe rack off and I made a little door so we can fit our toolboxes, all our CDs and books for when we sell them, and we can get to all of the storage underneath. So
oh yeah, cool.
It holds a lot under there that we couldn't get to before without a door. So that is our first and
yeah, before we had to lift up the whole bed in order to get into it.
So this is so much nicer.
Yeah, so speaking of the bed and the couch, we have had such a huge upgrade to our couch living room area because of one of you, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it is, but one of you asked, if you could look back and change anything that you did with the van, what would you change? And both me and Vince, I asked Vince, what would you change? And we both realized right away it would be the couch, because the couch was 4 inches higher, the back of it, so this is our bed slash couch futon, and in the back it was 4 inches higher because it was a full queen size bed. And so when we sat on it, it would hit our heads, our necks, and it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't comfortable. And so we were like, wait, maybe we could change that. So Vince just took our knife and chopped off 4 inches of the bed. And so now when we sit on it, and we pull this out when it's time to watch shows or whatever in lounge, but it is so much more comfortable. It is like night and day. I mean, it's almost dangerous because it's so comfy in here right now. So that was a huge upgrade. So thank you, whoever asked that question.
The most recent update I did was this, were these shelves here. I added this shelf in for our shows, and this opens this whole area up for more other things. We don't even have anything to put in there, but we now have a spot for it when we need it. So that's pretty amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is easier to get to when we're watching TV.
Yeah, it looks great. Okay, why don't you head back?
And then
the curtain.
Oh yeah.
So easily we forget the biggest improvement.
The biggest improvement is the curtain.
Because our kitchen is also our bathroom now. So now we have privacy. For the longest time, we only had a bucket. And now
we have a real toilet.
A real toilet. But before we get into that, show them the other improvement.
And then this right here, I added. It's hard to see it all, but we put all these shelves in all the way to the ceiling. And this is so much nicer. We have everything off the ground, nothing slides around.
Love it.
And this bucket down here, this white bucket, that is our bucket of lime.
Okay, honey, why don't you tell a little bit about the construction of your amazing toilet? I love this thing.
Like our dining room table, this is made from recycled crates that they were going to throw away. And so I took all the staples out, all the screws out, and then was able to make stuff. And so I made the table and I made this. So this is all made of recycled plywood from a company I worked at, and an old spoon.
That's our handle to lift it. I love that, honey.
And there's the toilet.
Yes.
And we covered it up so there's no way to see anything. But you pee in the front and
the other in the back.
Solid in the back, and there's a tube that runs along the edge here.
Yeah.
And then runs right along the side, and it goes in there in a 2-gallon container.
Yeah. So, and then after we do a solid, we put lime over it to suck out the moisture, which also sucks out the smell. So, and this thing, he put a little rubber, did you explain that? Rubber around the edge, so it...
A rubber gasket.
Yeah, so it seals it. I mean, this thing is solid and it doesn't smell in here at all. It's smells a little bit when you open it up to use it, but you know, it doesn't create any kind of problem in our van or home life. Okay. All right, so I have a story for you. We had a little disaster with the toilet, and I have to say, I absolutely adore this toilet. I am so proud of my husband for making this for, what, like $20, if that, for free. I mean, we used to have a $1,000 toilet in the bus. What was it called? Nature's Head. And, you know, paid $1,000 for it, and it's nothing compared to this. I mean, this design is incredible. Okay, so I love it. But when we first got it, I was still learning how to use it. And, you know, I have to sit forward to pee. And so I was peeing, and I had peed in it plenty of times and everything. And so I was peeing, and then all of a sudden I looked down. I was wearing tennis shoes, and I looked down and I noticed that there's this puddle of liquid. I thought it was water all the way that my shoes were sitting in. And so I looked down and I'm like, honey, he was sitting in the living room, and I said, honey, there's a puddle of water under my feet. And then all of a sudden it was like, uh-oh, maybe that's not water. And so then all of a sudden I'm like, crap, because I had just peed so much. I had had so much coffee and so much water. I drank so many liquids, and I had just peed a torrent of pee. And so I looked down, and sure enough, we had just driven somewhere, and so this gasket, this tube, was just open. So my pee was going through this tube down here, just out this open hole all over our floor. And I just freaked out. We had had a big day, and I was tired, and it was just like, I just freaked out. And I looked down, I started to find puddles of pee everywhere on our floor. I was just like having a panic attack, and Vince could tell I was having a panic attack, but he wasn't saying anything. And so I just started, you know, I'm like, honey, you know, I'm not crazy for being upset about there being urine all over our floor. And I started to have these visions of having our home smell like urine and everything. Oh my gosh, it was so horrible. And I got down on my hands and knees and like found all these pockets of liquid and cleaning it up. And finally he came and helped me, and we picked up the toilet and we got all of it cleaned up. And, you know, he didn't know how to react because I was freaking out so much. But I had a really good cry, and we got it all cleaned up. And now, whenever we drive anywhere, whenever I pee, I look down and I make sure he put these little black marks so that I could see if the black marks are connected, it's okay for me to pee. So those are our updates to our home. We are loving our life, and we will see you next Tuesday for the next episode of Sprinter Van Living.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week for another episode. Stay tuned for coffee time.